beautiful little dessert called fruit cobbler, which is a kind of, I think it's a slightly American-inspired dessert. And what I need for this is about 6 dessert spoons, good heaped dessert spoons of sugar. And the whole idea of this is that you can use any mixture of fruit you want, yeah? So at the moment, rhubarb is really, really good. So we're going to have a little bit of this. You don't want to use the leaves, because that's bitter, isn't good at all. But you can kind of slice up the rhubarb into sort of nice little centimetre slices. And we do that. Now, what I want to put in here is about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, yeah? Just a nice little glug. And I know it sounds a bit weird, but that will kind of work with the sugar and the fruit to make the most fantastic sauce in the world, yeah? So get your rhubarb, put it in here, and we can get the heat on. Now basically you need about 1 kilo of fruit. It could be one fruit, it could be a whole mixture. So I've got rhubarb, beautiful pears, apricots, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. I mean, you can use anything you like really, or any combination. But I want to just remove the flesh from the pears, slice them up a bit, and they can go on top of the rhubarb. Now, you can see it sort of boiling up a little bit here. That's a good sign. Apricots, just literally rip it off the stone. Oh, there we go. There we go. So you've got the apricots in there. And then I've got some lovely strawberries. Just want to take the green tops off and get them in top. Now, I'll tell you what, right? I mean, I've known these guys for about 5 or 6 years, and they're lovely people, don't get me wrong, but they're slightly mad about ABBA to the point where they're kind of living it. I mean, literally, every day when they go out, they're sort of dressed as different characters. So it's always a bit of a laugh when you go in the pub and you see them sort of turn up in their high heels and, and their flares and, you know, their little swarthy, you know, hair pieces on their chins and stuff. Really, really funny. So I thought it was about time I give them a good spoiling, cooked them a nice meal, because I think they probably get chucked out of most restaurants because they look like such freaks. Right, you want to add about a punnet or a handful of blueberries. Same again of raspberries. And the same again of blackberries. Now, that's going to be fruit a little toss here. Now look at that, it's all lovely and shiny, smells fantastic. Just simmer it for about 5 minutes till you'll be shocked at the amount of like moisture and juice that comes out of there. It'll be lovely. Now, cobbler, it's kind of a cross between a crumble and sort of sweet dumplings. It's beautiful, right? And basically, it's kind of called a cobbler because it looked like cobbled streets. So to make it, I need about 110 grams of butter. So I'm going to get my scales out. Here we go. Go on, my son. Oh, 112, just over. And I need 225 grams of self-raising flour. So, and what you've got to do, 225, 225, there you go, perfect. What you want to do is basically just sort of use your fingers, or you could do it in a food processor, just kind of rub or pulse, if you're using a food processor, the butter and the flour together. So it kind of goes together sort of like little yellow sort of chewy breadcrumbs. So kind of just get stuck in, it only takes a second. And this will kind of give you kind of, I suppose, you know, it's half fat to flour, so it's basically the same as, you know, short crust pastry really, but we're going to change it about a little bit. Look at that stuff over here, look, fantastic. That is just beautiful. You know what, it's fantastic fruit, you just can't beat it. So look, you can see what I've done, yeah? Just giving it a nice little rub like that, and it's just come together to be like little breadcrumbs, so that's good. Right, so what I need is a little pinch of salt, because we're using flour, and whether it's sweet or savoury, you always put a little pinch of salt in with your flour, just to make it taste nice. And we need to sweeten this with a little sugar, so we do need about 70 grams of sugar. There you go, just over. And I'm going to use some buttermilk, which, you know, I hardly ever use, to be honest. You could use like yoghurt instead if you wanted to, or sour cream. But basically, traditionally, buttermilk's used. You need about 140 millilitres of buttermilk. So that's about half a pot of one of these. So what I want to do is just stir this in. All right, and we turn, look at that lovely fruit. I'll turn it down now. Beautiful. Look at all that moisture that's come out of the fruit. I mean, there's no water in there at all, it's just natural. Right, so look, just mix it up. And if you have a look at it, it kind of looks like a kind of slightly moist sort of scone mix, right? So give it a good old mix, and then we'll just scrape it all out. And we're going to use this bowl to serve it in, so that's all good. So, and just want to give it a little knead, like that, and that'll be fine. Maybe a little extra flour, just to dust it. There we go, lovely. So, that's quite nice. So you can see it's not sticky, but it is moist, so there we go. Now, fruit's been simmering for about 3 or 4 minutes. It's really, really juicy. You can just pour that straight into this. You can serve it, you can do individual ones. You can sort of serve it in big thing, you know. That's perfect, really. And what I want to do, because it's self-raising flour, it's going to expand, yeah? So you want kind of like ping pong ball sort of size pieces of dough, and literally, you just roll them in your hand and plonk them in like that. Roll and plonk. So look, basically you can do big balls, you can do small balls. It just depends on what you like. Now the whole idea of this is even though there's big gaps in between it, those gaps are obviously it's going to, when they start cooking, because they're going to expand, like, you know, there won't be really that many gaps. And all the lovely juices that have come out of the fruit, they're going to like sort of cook into here. So these sweet dumplings, is basically what they are going to be fantastic, yeah? So I want to dust it with a little bit of caster sugar, and you can just literally drizzle it over there, about a couple of tablespoons, and that just makes the balls go really nice and sort of sweet and crunchy. And basically cook this for about 25-30 minutes at 190, and it'll be lovely, mate. Just check it out. Oh. Now, what I want to cook next is this fantastic pork dish, which is absolutely great. Now, if you want it to be superb, get yourself a really nice bit of organic pork and get the last 6 ribs, which are really, really nice to roast. Get the old boy to remove the skin and you're laughing. Now, to flavour this beautiful pork dish, what I'm going to use is fennel seeds, which are really fresh and fragrant. Pound them up in a little salt and pepper and add yourself about 1 handful of picked rosemary leaves. Give it a right good bashing and let all those oils come out. Now, get the pork loin and really rub all those fantastic flavours in. Now, what I'm going to do next is a little bit chefy, but get a few pieces of string and just tie up the meat to secure it into shape. Get yourself a hot pan and add about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, add your pork and really get some nice colour on there to get it nice and golden and brown, and that'll really get the flavours going. Now, a great veg with pork is fennel. Finely slice 2 bulbs, whack it in the tray, and you want to use a little bit of garlic. 6 cloves, just peeled, and whack them into the tray nice and whole. Herb-wise, I'm going to use some bay, about 4 or 5 leaves, nice little bit of rosemary, 4 or 5 stalks, and the best bit, add about 2 glasses of white wine. Just smell all those flavours, mate. It's going to be fantastic. Little trick. Get some greaseproof paper, run it under cold water, and then just tuck it into bed. Get all those little sides in, and then just pop it into the oven. You want to cook it for about 1 hour at 190 until the meat is really, really juicy. So much for dry.